All right, everybody, it's now 6:52 as we get going into this Wednesday evening. It is, again, 6:52. We do have a line of strong thunderstorms moving their way out of Middle Tennessee along the Cumberland Plateau. A couple of my cameras up above me are not working, so I apologize for that. Plus, I don't have any cameras on the plateau. But Fentress County, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning that the National Weather Service has now just expanded a little bit further to the east, including Scott County. So that severe thunderstorm warning now runs until 7:45 for Scott County, also parts of Campbell County, and down into northern Morgan County, not to mention northern Cumberland County. So if you're joining us from Fentress County, Scott, Campbell, Morgan, or even Cumberland County, we do have severe thunderstorm warnings. This is north of Interstate 40 or right along Interstate 40 anyways, just north, getting ready to work its way towards Jamestown, right along Highway 127. And this storm actually has already produced some damaging winds. We've had reports into Overton County, just the county over, of quite a bit of trees down across the area. And so this does have the history of damaging winds. And so I just wanted to jump in here real quick and give you a nice little weather update. Again, if you don't have the East Tennessee Weather app yet, now's would be a good time to go to the Google Play Store or the App Store and search East TN Weather, all one word. Download it and make sure you have your push notifications turned on because you would have been notified that lightning was within 15 miles. You would have been notified that the National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning, and you would have also been notified that the Storm Prediction Center had issued a severe thunderstorm watch that runs until 11 o'clock here this evening. So they'll likely scale that back a little bit, but we still have some showers and thunderstorms to our west. Now, for everybody else around East Tennessee, this is going to be along Interstate 40 north, and for the most part, west of Interstate 75. As it continues to track its way a little bit further to the east, this whole line of storms is expected to move into a little bit more of a stable environment. Although we've heated up the atmosphere, we've had quite a bit of sunshine during the afternoon, so now we have an unstable air, but do not anticipate a lot of severe weather around all of East Tennessee. That is not going to be the case. But let's go ahead and dive into the details on the radar here at this hour. And again, what you'll notice is that line of storm. So it's getting ready to, it's just now crossing, it just crossed its way through Byrdstown. So getting ready to work its way, it's paralleling right now Highway 127. So Jamestown, you're probably starting to feel the winds gusting out of these. These winds are going to be anywhere from 40, 50, 60 miles per hour or greater in some locations, not to mention the possibility of hail, because when you actually switch over to the hail product from the National Weather Service, we do have some hail that's been showing up around the area. So here's your 1 hour hail loop. You can see how the hail's been showing up towards Livingston, Byrdstown, Salina, just to the west of Fentress County. So do anticipate the possibility of some large hail and also some damaging winds. When you look at the wind inside this storm, this is really what we need to look at. Now, of course, the radar is going to be shooting at about 7,500 feet above the surface of the Earth. Obviously, the plateau doesn't go that high, but because you're in between the two radars from Nashville and the Morristown radar, where those radar beams is right along the is right along the plateau, and that shoots at about 7,500 feet. So the winds right now being reported about 50. I've seen a couple of reports a little bit higher than that. 50 upwards of 60 miles per hour up in above the surface. So not all of this is necessarily reaching the surface right now, but because it does and has had the history of some severe weather over into Overton County, where right around the Preston Street area, we've had some quite a bit of trees being reported down. And this has actually caused quite a bit of mess across parts of Middle Tennessee as well. And so that's why I wanted to jump on here real quick and just give you a radar update. Again, you can see those dark shades of purple showing up there. That's going to be your hail core. So the hail core is just now getting ready to work its way right over Davidson, along Highway 127, so Wolf River, down towards Jamestown, just to your west. If you're joining us from the Jamestown area, that hail core is not too far away. We're talking about 6 miles away, so it's going to be moving its way into your area here in the next 10 minutes or so. And so the possibility of some larger hail is going to be moving its way into that area. Getting some questions on social media. Stephanie Arms joining us right now. When's it going to hit North Crossville and North Cumberland County? So Stephanie, I'll get to work with that here in just a moment. But I just wanted to make sure everyone knew what was going on, what was heading our way. And so here's Stephanie's question right there. So let's go ahead and dive into the details on that because we want to keep everyone up to date. I know this is a really rural part of East Tennessee. I've flown over this the Cumberland Plateau many a times. So a lot of trees. And so that's why we're expecting, and I am anticipating a little bit more tree damage around the area, whether or not that's going to be in your community or not. That's still yet to be determined. But you can see the line is definitely stronger. So North Cumberland County, it is the strongest part of the cell just to the west of Monterey, getting ready to work its way into Monterey. Right there along Interstate 40. So as you come up through Crossville and up towards the Mayland area, the Mayland exit area, it is just to the north. Now, as I loop this over the next 15 minutes, or I should say the last 15 minutes, you can see that the main line or the strongest cells are going to be just a little bit further to the north. So most of Fentress County is going to get hit pretty hard with this. But again, the National Weather Service extending that severe thunderstorm warning to include Morgan, Scott, and also Campbell County. So we'll see how this all holds together as it works its way a little bit further to the east. Slowly but surely. This kind of ramped up throughout the day today. This morning, we'd barely even had a risk across the Cumberland Plateau. And then as we got into the lunch hour update, the Storm Prediction Center had expanded the level 1 risk for strong and severe thunderstorms right along north of Interstate 40 and for the most part west of Interstate 75. And then again, with my evening update at 5 o'clock, they expanded it even further to the east with a level 2 risk for you folks on the plateau. So I'll highlight that here in just a moment. Let's go ahead and give you an idea of who's in the path of this storm, and then I'll go to questions, and we'll try to get as many questions as we possibly can answered. Now, notice the direction of the storm tracks. The storm tracks are, again, moving to the north and east. So once again, let me loop this over the last 30 minutes. This will give you a better idea of how this is all trending and how this the main line is trending east-northeast. And so I would say places like Oneida, Huntsville, Sunbright, you could be in the path of some damaging wind gusts and the possibility of some larger hail, but this will all progress its way northward. Now, as it moves its way east of Interstate 75, so we're talking Claiborne County, Union County, parts of Knox County, we'll keep an eye on it as well as we head through the rest of our evening, but I do anticipate this to run into a little bit more stable air as it does so. You're asking about, Patricia's asking about Blaine. What about Blaine? And so Blaine so far I think would be doing just fine, but definitely going to be watching that one as it continues to track its way a little bit further to the east. But I think if you live south of Interstate 40, you're doing just fine. Listen, this is East Tennessee weather. We cover all of East Tennessee. So if this doesn't affect you, no need to stick around. I don't necessarily know that all of East Tennessee will get that. I'll show you a future cast, though, coming up here in just a moment. So that's a live look at the radar. Let me show you the severe thunderstorm watch that that the Storm Prediction Center has issued, and it's only for Fentress and Cumberland County as of right now. We'll see if the Storm Prediction Center continues to expand that based on the current cell that's actually taking place right now. But only Fentress and Cumberland County are currently under a severe thunderstorm watch. Now, the Storm Prediction Center, that's the change that we had from this morning. So this morning, it barely clipped the northern plateau. Looked like it was going to be a little bit further to the west, over into Middle Tennessee, into Kentucky. But then now we have a level 2 risk for North Cumberland County, Fentress, northern Morgan County, Scott, and also parts of Campbell County, with a level 1 extending from Dunlap all the way up into Claiborne County and even Hawkins and Hancock County. So we'll see how this all holds together. And again, the East Tennessee Weather app is going to be a great tool if you are going to be at, listen, it's 7 o'clock. If you haven't eaten dinner yet or cooked dinner yet, this is going to be a great tool. But let me show you the latest Futurecast model. Let me change the time here so it picks up at the current time. That would give us a better idea of what's going on. So there's the storm, okay? That we've been talking about, and it's a little bit behind schedule. It's 7:01, so it's a little bit behind. So say it's about that location. Anyways, as we head through the 8 o'clock hour, notice how it stays basically north of Interstate 40 and west of Interstate 75. Then as we head into the 8 o'clock hour, it continues to stay in that northwestern quadrant of East Tennessee. So you're taking 75 and Interstate 40, so the northwestern quadrant. So again, I think Fentress County is going to be in the thick of it for the next hour or so. And then we'll see how this all progresses, because there are more storms over in the Middle Tennessee that I'll highlight in the radar picture in just a moment. But you can see how this is going to start to weaken as it works its way east. See how it's weakening as we get into the 9, 10, 11 o'clock hour. So again, anybody basically east of Interstate 75, less likely to see the severe weather, but definitely a different story than what's going on out there right now, which we can clearly see. Now, those storms, let me switch to a different radar. We'll go over to Nashville's radar and see how this all is progressing all the way down from Pulaski to Tennessee, down along Highway 65, moving its way over 24. And so we'll be watching these, but we're starting to lose the daytime heating. The sun's, getting down lower in the sky, and so that's going to be more beneficial to us. So as we lose the daytime heating, we lose the energy in the atmosphere. The atmosphere starts to quiet and calm. And so, again, those storms back towards Murfreesboro and Tullahoma, I don't anticipate those to really cause much of a ruckus. Maybe have some thunderstorms for sure. So when you look at the lightning data over the last, get the lightning data on for you. We've got over the last short while, we've had about 400 lightning strikes, but it has been decreasing in intensity. So that's good news, because when we start to see lightning strikes come down, that lets us know that the storms are weakening. However, not the case, obviously, for Fentress County, which is like, wait a second, hold on a second, I'm in the thick of things right now. So let's dump back to Fentress County, North Cumberland County as well, and show you how these are all playing out. Now, we're also seeing a little bit of a bow in those, and that's that's a sign of. So there's the current hour. See how this is bowing like that, little bow segment. So the winds aloft from behind are pushing the front side of that storm further to the east, and that's where we would get the strongest winds, the most damaging winds. And so that's something that we will continue to monitor closely. Now, of course, the National Weather Service out of Nashville is the one who issues the watches and the warnings, or I should say the warnings anyways, for you folks in the Fentress and Cumberland County. And they're not saying anything. They say they continue the severe thunderstorm warning right now, but that's for different counties. So let's see. The Storm Prediction Center issues severe weather outlook. Trying to find the latest data for you. Probability of a watch issuance is about 60%. So let's see what that looks like here. Let me get, we're going to be doing some nowcasting as we dive into this and see where that watch may be located, because we may see a watch issued or maybe expanded a little bit further to the east. So let's see what the Storm Prediction Center says here in just a moment. So give me 1 second. Let's see. Storm Prediction Center. Severe thunderstorm watch potential. Okay, so the Storm Prediction Center is talking about issuing a severe thunderstorm watch or continuing to expand that. That would include places like Knox County potentially, Cumberland, also Morgan, into Union. We'll go Anderson. Let's see, that would be also Claiborne and Granger County. So it would probably expand this a little bit further to the east, and they're going a 60% probability that they would do this. So they're saying damaging wind gusts and marginally severe hail may accompany a bowing line segment. That's what I just talked about. See how this is bowing out? And that's where you get the strongest winds across north central Middle Tennessee and south central Kentucky over the next 1 to 2 hours. So it's 7:05, and so 7:05, so next couple hours, so 6:05 for you folks in the central time zone. So probably through about 8 or so. So next couple of hours, we'll see how this all progresses eastward and see what the Storm Prediction Center says. So it says recent radar imagery shows a bowing segment with a descending rear inflow jet progressing eastward across Overton County into Tennessee. Confidence in this feature is maintaining its intensity over the next few hours is low to moderate, considering a weakly forced environment. And so the environment's not too terribly strong. As we start to lose the daytime heating and the further east that this travels, it loses that environment to keep it really going. So what happens is we get a lot of sinking air. And so rather than a lot of unstable air, it's going to move into a lot more of a stable environment. And so because of that, downstream, so east of this storm right now, let's see. So they may issue a watch with winds gusting possible up to about 70 miles per hour. So we'll see what the Storm Prediction Center does with that and see if they actually issue the severe thunderstorm watch with that. I think that would be about the extent of it so far. So let's go to the questions here and see if you have any questions. I'll just leave this on. I'll loop this over the last, say, 30 minutes so you can get an idea on how this is all progressing. So what you're looking at on the screen is a 30-minute radar loop. And I apologize, some of my cameras aren't working here at this hour. All right, so we go to the chat and see what you all are saying. I think if you live south of Interstate 40, places like Betty, Philadelphia, you're likely not to see much activity whatsoever. Do you see some rain? Maybe. Loudon, Tennessee, yeah, likely not the case as well. So again, anybody south of Interstate 40, you're likely not to get much activity here for the evening hours. But if you live north of Interstate 40 and definitely west of Interstate 75, so towards Nashville, along Interstate 75 and west, you have a better chance of seeing a little bit more activity. I know all the kids are celebrating in some school districts on the last full day of school here today. My kids were celebrating as well. But just keep in mind that tomorrow, actually, for the last day of school for many counties, we are still talking about the possibility of some strong to severe thunderstorms. So if you stick with me, I'll walk you through the rest of that forecast while I've got you already on the screen here. We've got quite a few folks are already joining us here at this hour as we continue to update it. But again, I think if you live south of Interstate 40, you're likely not to see much activity. Now, we do have quite a bit of lightning out there, but that is weakening as it moves its way into a little bit more of a favorable environment. Let's see here. We already talked about Blaine. Let's see if I can catch up on the chat here. How about past Knoxville, Greenville area? Likely not to see anything at all, really, to be honest with you, Elizabeth. So Elizabeth is asking about the Greenville area or just east. So again, I think anything north of Interstate 40 and along or west of Interstate 75, the northwest quadrant of East Tennessee definitely has the best chance of seeing the severe weather as this Boeing segment continues to progress its way a little bit further to the east. Let's see. I'm pretty sure Oneida will get hit with this. Yes, Oneida is going to get hit pretty hard with this one. So anybody joining us from Scott County right now, you are under severe thunderstorm warning that the National Weather Service has extended until 7:45. That would be Eastern Daylight Time. So for another about 40 minutes or so for you folks into Scott County. East of Kingston, well, basically Kingston, you're kind of on the edge there because you're right along Interstate 40. So you're on the edge, but I don't think that you'll probably see a whole lot. I think that severe thunderstorm watch, if the Storm Prediction Center issues that, will be along and north of Interstate 40. So I think Kingston, you'll probably be just fine. Really, they're just talking about this Boeing segment. So that's why I wanted to jump in here. I've been getting the kids some dinner here, getting dinner myself, and I was like, yeah, we better go on and keep folks up to date on what's going on. All right, so let's talk about some cities that may be involved in this. Obviously, you can see some of the major cities like Winfield, Oneida, Huntsville, and Sunbright. So anybody living or going to be traveling along Highway 27, because the bulk of the storm is now past Highway 127 and Fentress and Allert County, Allert, anyways, not into Fentress County, so Jamestown and Allert, I should say. But the strongest part of that cell, and where we're seeing some of the strongest winds with that Boeing segment, where we could see hail upwards of about 3/4 of an inch in diameter. The top of the storm is only about 30,000 feet. Let's see, it is tracking to the east at about 30 miles per hour. So let's throw those cities back on here. So we're talking like places like Speck, Black Oak, Toomey, and New Haven. Hopefully I said most of those words right. So Speck about 728. So way ahead of the storm. Again, this is a very rural and very foresty, if you will, for lack of better words, part of East Tennessee. And if you're joining us from the plateau, you know that. So as it tracks its way into Scott County. So if it's tracking to the east at about 30 miles per hour, we'll just take the leading edge of this. We'll come out 30 miles per hour. And so this is who would be in the path of the storm. So Mount Helen at about 7:16, that would be in about 16 minutes. Rugby about 7:19, so about 9 more minutes anyways. New Haven 7:26, Toomey at 7:27, Black Creek at 7:29. Obviously places like Oneida, Stanley Junction, Huntsville, all in the path of this leading edge of this bow echo. Places like Jeffers, Buckeye, Elk Valley, Ketchum, and Creekmore over into southern Kentucky. So if you're joining us from southern Kentucky, you're still going to see this because you can see how it's extending upwards to our north. But really the main line is moving its now way through the eastern sections of Fentress County. So getting ready to cross over into Scott County here at this hour. So something to keep in mind. Again, let's dive in a little bit closer view. And so we've got Foster Creek Roads, Roberta, Black Oak, Toomey, Oneida, Helenwood, places like Zenith and Goad, Gurnt, Hopefully I'm saying that right. Some of these cities and towns are not just towns, but also some neighborhoods. And so you come down towards Rugby, and we got Elgin, Huffman, Robbins, Black Creek, and Coal Hill as well. But again, it is going to be tracking a little bit east and northeasterly as it does so. All right, jumping back to the chat here. What about Jacksboro? Jacksboro likely to be in the path of this. So Jacksboro, I would say, keep an eye on this, because Campbell County from Caryville through just outside of Jellicoe is under a severe thunderstorm warning that does include La Follette. And again, not Jellicoe officially in the severe thunderstorm warning, but the leading edge of the storm is just 38 miles to the west of Jellicoe. We've got the storm about 42 miles to the west of La Follette. Sunbright, the bottom edge of that, Sunbright, about 12 minutes away. 34 miles, 31 miles, so I had the miles and minutes wrong. But 38 minutes to Jellicoe, 42 minutes to La Follette, 12 minutes to Sunbright. Come down in a little bit of a closer view here. And let's give you some other places. So Oneida, let's talk about Oneida here. So the leading edge of the storm is now 14 minutes away, basically, from Oneida. So it's 11 miles away. And make sure I have this storm velocity. I've got that wrong, so we'll go like this. So let me change that. That's going to change our times just a little bit here. So now Oneida, we're about 20 minutes away. So again, it's moving to the east at about 30 miles per hour. So I did have those times wrong. I apologize. The southern end of that, we'll go Huntsville. The leading edge of that storm for you folks in Huntsville is about 28 minutes away. Winfield, we're going to go about 27 minutes away. We'll take this similar location for Oneida and go towards Jellicoe. So Jellicoe within the next hour. The possibility of this storm moving its way into your area. La Follette, let's get a different view from La Follette. So La Follette, you're probably going to get the tail end of this. So we'll go La Follette, you're probably an hour away before the storm hits. So we'll go 8:14 or so, 8:15, quarter after 8, by the time the storm starts to move its way into your area. It's moving out of DeKalb County slowly. Yes, it is. Does Knox get anything, says Kimberly? I think Knox has a chance. And Knox may be included into the severe thunderstorm watch if they issue that. Again, there was a 60% probability for a severe thunderstorm watch for that. We still have that severe thunderstorm warning now for Anderson, Campbell, Morgan, and Scott County. And that does run until 7:45 Eastern Daylight Time. So again, folks joining us from Anderson, Campbell, Morgan, and Scott County, still underneath the severe thunderstorm warning that you can see includes places like Sunbright and Wartburg, North Cumberland County. So again, while we do have some showers and thunderstorms to our west for people like Stephanie Arms, who joins us here from North Cumberland County, North Crossville area. Not quite sure exactly where you live, Stephanie, but just north of downtown Crossville, at about 5 miles or so is where that severe thunderstorm warning starts. So if you didn't get the warning from the East Tennessee Weather app, Stephanie, then you're likely not in the path of the severe storm, or at least the main part of it. And again, it is moving out of Fentress County, but the main line of this cell is right along the leading edge of it. And so see this little, let me get the blue on there. Blue will probably show up a little bit better. So this little bowing segment, and a little bow echo. So we get some upper level winds pushing the leading edge of this out in front of it. And so that lets us know that we have some strong winds aloft. So when you look at the winds aloft and we highlight that, some of the winds are about 40. Let's see, this one's probably going to be a little bit higher, 56 miles per hour. Remember, severe thunderstorm warning is 58 miles per hour or greater, or 1 inch in diameter hail or larger. Has nothing to do with rain, has nothing to do with lightning. It's only wind and hail is what signifies a severe thunderstorm warning. Bobby, you're very welcome. Calandra, my eyes are getting a little bit better, so thank you very much. I was out resting them before we jumped on here for a live weather update. Overcast and still dry in Maynardville. Maynardville, you may get some showers or maybe just some light rain, but I'm not expecting a whole lot there, Tom. Also, Harrogate. Harrogate's, we have to watch for this closely. So Harrogate, the leading edge of the cell is, for you folks in Harrogate, you're still talking an hour and a half to 2 hours away if it holds together, because it is tracking to the east at about 30 miles per hour, but it's also tracking east northeasterly. So I'm expecting this to kind of work its way. Sunbright, you're getting close. So I know all eyes kind of perk up, all ears perk up for Sunbright. For very good reason. But the strongest part of the cell is now for you folks in Sunbright. The leading edge of that, we'll just come over here, is about 9 to 10 miles away from Sunbright. So Sunbright will be watching the southern end of this. So I would say this little section right here, Sunbright, if it moves its way into your area, although it may just clip off to the north and you may just get some light rain, but you'll hear the thunder, you'll see the dark clouds out there for sure. But again, things kind of ramped up throughout the day today with that severe weather potential. Now, while I've got you on here, again, we're watching this main line coming in out of the eastern Fentress County area, starting to work its way into Scott County. So places in Scott County: Foster Crossroads, Roberta, Black Oak, Toomey, Oneida, High Point, Helenwood, Winfield, and Piney Grove would all be next in line for seeing the strongest part of the cell. And this does have the possibility of some hail showing up with it. When you look at the hail aspects of it, this is over the last hour. You can definitely see that we do have some hail showing up. When you look at your Barron button, this gives us an idea. So I've got some tools in here that we can highlight. But the Barron button's picking up on the possibility of 1 inch to 1.5 inch diameter hail with that. Now on the southern end of that, maybe not quite as large. So Brewstertown, probably not going to see a whole lot of large hail, but places like Gurnt and Goad could see some larger hail. And if this holds together, again, along Interstate Highway 27, I should say, Oneida, Elgin, Winfield, and the Huntsville community could see some larger hail, but definitely the possibility of some stronger wind gusts associated with this as it moves its way through. Again, the radar is shooting way up in the atmosphere. And that is important to note because the radar is so far away, all the way in Morristown, it's shooting at about 7,000 feet right now above the surface of the Earth. And so that's pretty far. And so the winds are strong up there, but are they all going to be transferred down to the surface? Well, when you see a bowing, a bow echo or a line that's bowing out, that's a good indication that those winds are going to be transferred to the surface because the radar is picking up on the rain being pushed out ahead of the main storm. So that gives us a good indication that the winds are possibly severe. And we've had the history over in Overton County and back in the Middle Tennessee of these storms producing some wind damage. National Weather Service not saying anything as of right now. Anything else, I should say. Let's get this collapse that. Let's see if they are doing anything else. It doesn't seem to be. Let's see what the Storm Prediction Center is saying. Well, I've got you on here. Let's just go ahead and show you the Futurecast one more time, give you an idea. Now, the Futurecast is going to be a little bit behind, but it will give you an idea anyways from what we're currently seeing. And again, if you're jumping on here and you're on social media and you don't have the East Tennessee Weather app, now's a good time to download it. Go to the Google Play Store or the App Store and search East TN Weather, all one word. And I'll show you why here in a second, because it is going to be a great tool to track the storms. It gives you current, past, and future radar. It'll let you. It would have let you know that lightning was within 15 miles of your location. It would let you know that the Storm Prediction Center issued the severe thunderstorm watch that runs until 11 o'clock here tonight. It would also indicate you or give you a push notification that we do have a couple severe thunderstorm warnings out there. And maybe you got the push notification that which I highlighted just upper East Tennessee, that we had these line of storms coming on through. So if you don't have the app, I would highly recommend going to the Google Play Store or the App Store and search East TN Weather, all one word, because it's going to be a great tool as we progress through spring and into the summer months, as we want to get out to the lakes, as we want to enjoy our summertime. And you're out playing, you're not thinking about things, you're maybe grilling in the backyard, hosting a birthday party or a barbecue, it's a Saturday, you're mowing the yard. But if lightning is within 15 miles of your location, that's your first indication. Like, hey, listen, let me go look at the radar and see exactly what's going on. So we do have a level 1 and level 2 risk for strong to severe storms. That's what we're currently watching as we look at our Futurecast model. And again, it's picking up pretty much what we're seeing out there right now. So we progress through time. Swatch as this progresses eastward, it weakens. So do we see some showers and thunderstorms in Harrogate? Yeah, the possibility is definitely there. Do we see the intensity that we're currently seeing in Fentress and also parts of Scott County? And the likelihood's not necessarily there. And again, we've got a 60% chance for seeing a severe thunderstorm watch being expanded by the Storm Prediction Center. So something that we'll continue to watch here for the rest of the evening, just to kind of keep you up to date on time. If you're maybe cooking dinner, maybe you're heading home from work late tonight or running some errands and you jumped on social media and saw this update, it is 7:21. And so we're losing the daytime heating. And as you can see, as we get closer to 10, 11, and midnight, the storms will slowly come to an end. But some good solid rainmakers. And we could see some solid downpours. And so that's going to be something to keep in mind here over the next couple of days as well, as we start to see this elevated risk for thunderstorms, heavy rain to round out the week. And headed into the upcoming holiday weekend, all the rain that we saw last week and the rain that we saw this week, and the ground's saturated. And so that could lead us to the potential for some localized flooding and flash flooding. So if you live in a little bit more of a flood-prone area, then you would definitely want to pay attention to how this is all going to play out. So that's your forecast for midnight tonight with rainfall. So you can clearly see that this model, it's just a model, obviously, is not picking up on a ton of activity, basically further east of Interstate 75 or even south of Interstate 40. As I mentioned, a great tool is the East Tennessee Weather app. Just look for the orange TN and the white lightning bolt. It really is everything you need to know for East Tennessee weather. I'm not just saying that, but it really is. It's got a wealth of weather information. I do live weather updates at 7 o'clock in the morning, Monday through Friday. We have some coffee talk. We talk about the weather. We talk traffic, and we have a lot of fun in the morning hours. But of course, you always get those push notifications when we do live severe weather coverage. So for the rest of the evening, temperatures will start to fall. Obviously, we're going to see some of that rain-cooled air. If you've already seen the storms, your temperatures have dropped quite a bit. And if you have any photos of any activity going on in your community, as we continue to talk about this, not just tonight, but through the day tomorrow, you can upload photos through the Witcher's Pictures link, which I'll show you here in a moment as well. So here's the risk for severe storms tomorrow. So all of East Tennessee is going to be under a level 1 risk for isolated strong to severe thunderstorms. Now, that just means it's on the lower end of the scale, but again, that's what we had until that bow echo came through just a little bit ago, and that's why they ramped it up to a level 2 risk. The Storm Prediction Center did anyways. So here's our timeline. We may have a couple of scattered showers first thing in the morning. Again, this is a model forecast. Don't take this as the say-all be-all. It's not necessarily the case. It gives us an idea, but this idea has been with us for the last couple of days. So from the late morning into the early afternoon, we may get a couple of isolated strong thunderstorms. I wasn't anticipating a lot of severe weather for the first part of our day tomorrow. But as we heat up the atmosphere, as we get closer to noon or so, we could see a couple of isolated strong thunderstorms. There's another piece of energy that's going to slide through tomorrow afternoon and evening. Again, the kids have a half day. And so I think through the middle part of the day, we should be okay. So late morning, early afternoon, say from 11 to say 3, probably going to be doing okay anyways. But as the storms, or as we heat up the atmosphere tomorrow and this energy starts to work its way on through, we've got an unstable atmosphere in place. And so that's going to lead to the potential for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 o'clock tomorrow night of seeing some isolated strong to severe storms. So I know there's a lot of after-school parties going on tomorrow. They've got a half day. If your kids come home from school, just keep them up to date on what the potential is tomorrow. If they're latchkey kids, staying home by themselves while you're at work, make sure they're aware of the situation. Now, when you take into account today's rainfall, which is across the northern plateau, and tomorrow, it'll be like along Interstate 40 and north is going to be the greatest potential for some strong to severe storms. South of it, less likely to see the heaviest rain, but that's going to be the area north of Interstate 40 would be the area that we'd be needing to be concerned with a little bit more for the potential for some flooding and some localized flash flooding. So that's the forecast for the next couple of days. I will highlight your 7-day forecast here and show you what that looks like, because as we look ahead into the holiday weekend, the unofficial start to summer is right around the corner. And again, we're going to see showers and thunderstorms tomorrow and Friday. I've tapered that down quite a bit on Saturday. We'll see what the latest model guidance does tomorrow morning on how Saturday is trending, but it looks like a little bit of ridging is taking place. So I did shut down the rain a little bit on Saturday, subject to change. So make sure you check back in. It is the holiday weekend. We want to be out on the boats, the water, slipping sides, and have the barbecues, right? Celebrate Memorial Day weekend for what it is. And I hope you have a good one for sure. So Saturday right now, if I were a betting man, would be the best day. And then Sunday into Monday, we do have another elevated risk for strong to severe thunderstorms as the Storm Prediction Center has once again elevated that risk. So tomorrow into Friday's risk is across the Great Plains and the Tennessee Valley, stretching across the eastern seaboard, the mid-Atlantic. Then as we get into our Friday, Saturday time frame, it kind of gets shaved off a little bit, okay? But if you have travel plans for Memorial Day weekend, just keep in mind from Chicago through St. Louis, Memphis, down into much of Arkansas, we do have that level 1 risk. But on day number 4, we do have a level 1 and level 2. So like a 15 now we're talking probabilities. Okay, so now we don't have the level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have basically 2 categories, 15% probability or 30% or greater. And so where you see the bullseye for 30% or greater means that the Storm Prediction Center is pretty confident that severe weather will likely take place Sunday into Monday, right around there. What do they do with that? Is that going to be a level 1, 2, 3, or 4 risk? Not sure yet. And of course, I'll have all the latest information tomorrow morning on all of the East Tennessee weather platforms as that data comes out from the Storm Prediction Center. But notice Sunday into Monday, much of East Tennessee could be at least under a level 1 risk for severe weather. And so we've ramped up those rain chances Sunday, Monday, and then they start to fade away as we get into our Tuesday, Wednesday. When you look at the Weather Prediction Center's forecast for rainfall, this takes us through Friday, but watch the Tennessee Valley and Kentucky. This takes us through Friday. Now we go through Sunday, and now we go through next Tuesday. And you can see our 7-day stretch of rainfall, the bullseye is going to be across Tennessee and Kentucky for the possibility of the heaviest rain, where we could see anywhere from 1 to 2 inches of rainfall here in East Tennessee, maybe 2+ over towards Nashville, parts of the plateau up into Kentucky. So there is the potential for some significant rain, and I think the majority of that would come through Sunday into Monday. All right, back to the forecast here, or back to the radar imagery, because now the strongest part of the cell is working its way just paralleling Highway 27 from Sunbright through Huntsville, Oneida, and Winfield. And again, we are looking at the possibility of some larger hail associated with this, where the hail is with the possibility of up to about 1 inch in diameter. So Winfield, Oneida, Huntsville, heads up, could have upwards of about 1 inch diameter hail and the possibility of some damaging wind gusts. So we do have a lot of wind associated with this, and this has already had the history of producing some winds. Let's see what the National Weather Service is saying. So no updated information from the National Weather Service right now, but they are definitely watching this storm as well. And again, as it works its way into Huntsville, Oneida, I think the strongest part of the cell is really just going to be Oneida. Between Oneida, Stanley Junction, and Huntsville is really, well, we'll go down towards Robbins. That's where we're going to see some of the strongest winds. So when you, again, look at the winds inside this storm, you're looking at 58 miles per hour winds possibly reaching the surface towards Winfield. Oneida also close to 50, 55 miles per hour. Winona to south of Huntsville, possibility of 64 mile per hour winds. So again, that's where we're seeing. And when you go back to the radar, that's where you see some of the strongest part of that, the bowing out of this cell as these winds are transferring aloft down to the surface and pushing the center part of this storm out. And so these are more wind producing kind of storms, but clearly some very heavy rain makers as well. The rain amounts, or the rain possibility with this is pretty significant. And so when you, and I don't think that we don't have necessarily any rotation with this, but look at the rainfall rates with this. We're talking 7.5. So yeah, we're trending about 7 inches per hour. Now, of course, the storm's not going to stay on top of you for an hour, but if it were to, it would likely produce the possibility of over 7 inches of rain. These are solid downpours that are going to continue to work their way east along Highway 27. So Sunbright, Coal Hill, Robbins, Huntsville, Stanley Junction, Oneida, Winfield, all in the path of the possibility of some damaging winds. Also Isham and Pleasant Grove, Piney Grove. So some of the smaller cities. And when you look at places like Oneida, the strongest part of the cell is just off to your west. Hale is just off to your west by about within 5 to 10 minutes, it's going to be moving its way into Oneida. Because you got to realize radar data also is 2 to 5 minutes old. By the time the radar scans the whole thing, senses, processes all the data, and sends it out, we get 2 to 5 minute old radar data. So everything that you see on the screen potentially is much older data. Not much. It's the best we could possibly do. So yeah, moving right over Oneida, Winfield. If you have any photos of the rain, any videos, you can post those to social media, or of course upload those through the Witcher's Pictures link and the East Tennessee Weather app. All right, so now we have a new severe thunderstorm warning being issued by the National Weather Service out of Nashville, and this one is going to be for Cumberland County. So now Crossville, so North Crossville. Now, Stephanie, pay attention. So the National Weather Service is saying they have issued a severe thunderstorm warning for southeastern Overton County, Cumberland County, and Putnam County. This runs until 7:15 Central Daylight Time, so for about 45 minutes or so for you folks on the plateau. At 6:29 p.m. Central Daylight Time, a severe thunderstorm was located 7 miles west of Sparta, moving east at 55 miles per hour. We're talking hazards of 60 mile per hour winds or greater. It is radar indicated, but expect damage to roofs, siding, and trees. And we've seen these storms already produce some damaging winds. So let me switch over to the radar coming in out of Middle Tennessee, and that will give you a better idea. So if you're joining us from Cumberland County, you can see how we do have some strong, another strong cell. Doesn't seem to have the hail potential that the one that's moving its way through Scott County right now does. So not quite seeing that indication for hail, but damaging wind moving its way towards Sparta right now. So if you're joining us from Crossville, I would say the leading edge of this is about 45 minutes away. Well, let's take that back because it said it was moving at 55 miles per hour. So we'll go 55. Let's reset that. And so now the leading edge of that is about less than 30 minutes in Cumberland County. So we do have a severe thunderstorm warning now for Cumberland County that does run until 8:15 Eastern Daylight Time, 7:15 Central Daylight Time. All right, let's go back to the chat and see how let's see if you have any other questions on here. Let me try to get back up to where the chat is. So Stephanie, hopefully I've answered your question about North Crossville. Let's see. Friendsville, you're likely in the clear. Probably not going to see much in Friendsville. Hopefully I answered that question as well. Krista says, I've got a NOAA weather radio. Good. It's the voice of the National Weather Service when you're not paying attention, right? It stays quiet unless you got every county programmed, but only program your county or maybe the county to your north, south, and west would be the best idea if you have a NOAA weather radio on how to program that. Let's see. Scott Denny says, we've got heavy rain and thunder over the Nashville area, sending it your way. Thank you very much, Scott. We're getting it right now. Beth, you're very welcome. Let's see. Greenville, hopefully I answered that question already for you, Elizabeth. I think I'm kind of a little bit behind. You're about 4 miles north of Interstate 40, so now you're under a severe thunderstorm warning if you weren't already, Stephanie, and hopefully you were getting those weather updates. So it is going to be working its way towards La Follette, so I'll give you an update on that here in just a moment, Scott, so pay attention to that. Morristown, likely to not see much activity. Again, this is going to continue to weaken as it moves into a little bit more of a stable environment. Let's see. Tammy says, thanks, Mike. Storm was strong when it went through East Jamestown and Fentress County. So, Tammy, did you have any wind damage, any trees down? Did you get any hail? Let us know. So if you're on the chat and you do see the storms, let me know what's going on in your area so then we can at least get an idea of what's been already happening so we can really talk about what the potential is as it progresses further to the east. Stephanie's getting the notifications with the East Tennessee Weather app. Clinton's likely to be okay, but again, I'd keep an eye on it. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning now for Cumberland County, so Clinton will watch as this progresses a little bit further to the east from Cumberland County, and we'll keep you posted on that. So it just got dark in 09, about 5 minutes from the local Walmart. All right, thank you very much, Far Sender. Tammy's getting the notifications in Washburn with the East Tennessee Weather app. What about Thursday, 7 o'clock for Sevierville? We're going to have to watch closely. Is it outdoors? If it's outdoors, we do need to watch that. So make sure that you have a way to receive that weather information. So, Judy, if you don't have the East Tennessee Weather app, go ahead and go download it right now. You'll get notifications. I'll keep you up to date on the severe weather potential through there and, of course, through social media. Thanks a lot, Coach. Hopefully you had a good night the other night. Lots of folks on here that I know from the morning broadcast and Wake Up with Witcher. And, of course, we'll have an update on what the Storm Prediction Center does with our severe weather potential tomorrow. And, again, we'll have another update on what they're doing for our storm system that's coming through Sunday, Monday. So now we're looking at several more days of the potential for severe weather heading into the holiday weekend. Nobody wants that, but here we are. And so here we go, right? Morristown's probably just going to get some rumbles. Likely not to see a whole lot. Lenore City is going to be doing A-OK. Not expecting much in Lenore City whatsoever. When we'll arrive in Knoxville, probably not going to see a ton, but probably within the next hour to 2 hours. Let's see. Heavy rain and wind right now in Robbins. Power is out as well. So, speaking of which, let's see if we can't get some power outages and see what's going on with the power outages. All right. So, Fentress County without power right now. We've got 20% of the area without power. Scott County just less than 1% without power, but Overton County about 20% without power as well. So you can see even back further to our west how this has had the history of producing damaging wind and also the potential for some power outages. So as we get into the sundown hour, 7:38 right now, we'll definitely be watching that as well. Now, as you look at our future scan, let's go ahead and pick up this future scan. We'll go back into time. There's what's going on right now, 7:38. So this will give us a good idea of how this is all progressing east. So let me do a couple things. I'll go back to the Morristown radar, and you can see how it's really picking up on what's going on in Huntsville, Oneida, and further to our west, okay? So pay attention. I'm going to keep this right along Interstate 40. So Interstate 40 is right here at the bottom of your screen, okay? Downtown Knoxville is right there. So Clinton, Tazewell, La Follette. So I've circled a few places. So look at the cities on your screen. And now let me put it on the future scan because this will give you a good idea on how this is all going to be progressing further to the east. And so this is going to take us from now over the next 1 hour. And so this gives us a good idea. So that's the current time. And so you can see how it starts to work its way towards Jellicoe, La Follette. So La Follette, Caryville could see the storms at 7:39 right now. So Jellicoe, La Follette, Caryville probably, about 8:15 or so. So we're looking about 30 minutes or so. It'll start to work its way into your area. But notice further to our south and notice how most of that activity stays well north of Interstate 40. So you can see how this future scan is keeping everything kind of north of Interstate 40. So Scott County, Morgan, Cumberland, Anderson County. So I'd say places like Oak Ridge, Clinton, Norris need to kind of stay on top of it and see how this all progresses. But this would be over the next hour. So Norris, Clinton, Oliver Springs, again, could see some of those storms. But as it moves its way towards Harrogate, Tazewell, Maynardville, this is all likely to weaken as we lose the heating of the day and it runs into that more more stable environment. But the rainfall rates have been pretty impressive with this, upwards of about 7.5 inches per hour. And that lets us know that we've got some downpours right along Interstate or Highway 27. I keep saying Interstate, but Highway 27. And so if you have plans or if you know anybody that's going to be traveling along Highway 27 or if you're getting ready to travel Highway 27, know that maybe just hold off about 15 to 20 minutes and then you'll be able to travel, but know that it is or has been producing incredible amounts of rain. And so that's going to create some issues on Highway 27. Not to mention, if you don't have great tires on your car, that is also going to create some issues. And so do travel slowly and carefully if you are going to be traveling Highway 27 here in the next short while. Let's see. Any other questions that you have? Wendy says, thanks for the updates. Looking ominous out in Halls right now. I'm sure it is. Looking off to the east and northeast for sure. Laura McCoy is just now joining. Morristown going to get some rumbles. Probably going to get some rumbles, maybe. But I'm not anticipating much actually for Morristown whatsoever. We've talked about Lenore City, Cindy, but no, Lenore City is going to be just fine. When will it arrive in Knox County? Maybe I'm already answering some of the same questions. Let's see. Is it safe? Jesse Williams, anyway, says, is it safe to say the farther east you are, less likely you are to see the storms this evening? And the answer would be yes. So basically, west of Interstate 75, north of Interstate 40 is really where we're seeing the majority of the coverage and the stronger storms right now. As it moves east of Interstate 75 into Claiborne County and the rest of Campbell County and, say, Union and North Anderson County, as it progresses east over 75, the idea is that it's going to continue to weaken as it moves into that more stable environment. Let's see. All right. The line is currently weakening. National Weather Service chiming in right now. They said the line is currently weakening, which is good. But there are thousands of power outages across Pickett, Fentress, Overton counties right now. So we do have quite a bit of power outages, which some of you have already mentioned here on the chat. Let's see. Got a few raindrops and wind in South Blount County. Thank you, Paul Prater, for passing that along. MB Beverly, is it coming to Johnson City? Nah, I think Johnson City's fine. What about Washburn? I think by the time it gets its way to Granger County, Tammy, I think will probably just be just fine. Again, it's this main line right now. Let me go back to the radar so you can get an idea of what the radar looks like. It's pretty nasty. Now, it is, even though we have some severe thunderstorm warnings for Cumberland County, as I look over at we've got some heavy rain that's going to move its way into Cumberland County. So anybody traveling along Interstate 40 westbound towards Nashville, you're going to be really slowed down depending on where you currently are or when you're going to be leaving your house. You're going to be slowed way down into Cumberland County. But once you get past that, you should be doing much, much better. But heavy rain and the possibility of some damaging wind gusts will be working their way into Cumberland County. We also, let's see, National Weather Service. So that's still the severe thunderstorm warning. So that does include Morgan County, just clipping the northeastern sections of Anderson County. So most of Anderson County is just fine. So much nicer that we have the polygons rather than the county warnings like we used to back in the day. Back in the day, they would just issue a whole warning for the entire county, but clearly Anderson County does not need that entire warning. So National Weather Service is definitely keeping an eye on this and seeing a weakening trend. Right now, in this, and this is a good time to tell you that, look at how many lightning strikes. Lightning strikes are on the top right-hand side of the screen. So I've circled that kind of in the top right-hand side of the screen. So we've only got 40 lightning strikes right now within the last 15 minutes. When I loop this over the last 30 minutes, watch how those they cranked up and now they're falling. And so that's a good indication that we are seeing that weakening trend that the National Weather Service was just talking about. Speaking of which, the National Weather Service now issues a severe thunderstorm warning for Anderson, Campbell, Claiborne, Morgan, Scott, and Union County. So you can see that new warning popping up on the screen right now. And so here's the information on that. There's the latest warning for, again, that would be Anderson, Campbell, Claiborne, Morgan, Scott, and Union County. So the information on that one is going to be at 7:43. So it's 7:44 right now. At 7:43, a severe thunderstorm was located along a line extending from near Zion Hill to 8 miles east of Huntsville to 8 miles north of Wartburg, moving east at 40 miles per hour, okay? So we're talking about damaging winds of 60 miles per hour or greater. This has been reported by law enforcement. So basically, a storm spotter says, okay, listen, we are getting some stronger wind gusts. And so they're issuing that severe thunderstorm warning because of that. Locations in the path would be Clinton, La Follette, Jacksboro, Jellicoe, Caryville, Rocky Top, Norris Dam State Park, of course, Elk Valley, and Smoky Junction. This includes Interstate 75 in Tennessee between miles marker 122 and 161, if you happen to know your mile markers. Maximum hail possibility is about 3/4 of an inch in diameter, so not necessarily damaging hail, but you could see some hail. And I think the majority of the hail is on the north side of that, where you see those purplish areas. Where you see the purple, that's where we have the hail core. Okay, so then when you look at the Barron Button, it's going to be just behind the hail core, but that's also indicating the possibility of an inch to maybe an inch in diameter hail So that is a possibility. Where you see the white showing up right there, that is a good indication of where the hail actually would be. Let's see if this is really staying on. So again, it's a little bit behind. The hail core is a little bit ahead of that. But the idea is there that we do have the possibility of that hail showing up right there in that area, then just heavy rain on the outside, on the outskirts of that as well. But again, rainfall rates within this have been trending about 7.5 inches per hour. So these are some solid downpours. And I think if folks are joining us from Oneida, Huntsville area, you probably can give us a testament to that, saying, yeah, it was pretty nasty for a hot minute. That's for sure. All right. Any other questions on the chat here? So Bobby Green says, a little bit of wind, lightning, and thunder here in Jacksboro. So I'll go back to the Morristown radar, clear things up, and kind of clean things up for you here. Get on out of that. So again, you're just on the, you're way ahead of it. So Jacksboro is, and again, this is trending about 40 miles per hour. So as we highlight that, we'll go 40 miles per hour, type that in there. And again, basically, places like, let's see, we would say places like Jellicoe, probably about 10 to 15 minutes it's moving its way into your area. Let's go Duff, about 15 to 20 minutes before it moves into your area. And we'll just say La Follette on there, about 15 to 20 minutes as well. So definitely Jacksboro is going to start to see the heaviest rain move its way in here shortly, but I do appreciate the update. Let's see who said that. Let's see. Some trees are down. So, okay, Cody. That's one of the Witcher Weather Watchers. Cody, you know you can join the program, right? Cody, if you want to jump in on the program and give us an update, you're more than welcome to. Just chime in and I'll bring you back into the program. If you want, you should have the link. If not, I will text it to you real quick. But Cody is a Witcher Weather Watcher that joins us from Scott County. He said some trees are down in Oneida. So we do appreciate the report there, Cody. And we've missed you on the morning broadcast, by the way. Everyone's been asking about you, you know. Kristen Taylor says Rockwood is getting dark. It is definitely going to be dark in Rockwood. But again, I don't necessarily know that Rockwood is going to get a ton of activity. We'll see how it progresses from Cumberland County as it moves its way into Morgan and also Roane County. So I'll keep you up to date on that. For those of you that aren't aware, haven't seen it on social media or been on Wake Up with Witcher at all, if I'm squinting a little bit, I did have eye surgery last Thursday, so we're still recovering from some eye surgery, but appreciate your patience. All right, so be sharp. Be sharp, thanks very much for the information. Power out and lots of trees down in Allard and Fentress County. And hey, by the way, if you do give me reports like that, thank you very much, Be Sharp. Give me the city and the county. I do know most of the counties around town. And the cities that are within these counties, but the more information you can give on the chat to let us know how this will progress the information downstream would really be beneficial, rather than saying, hey, hail here, or something like that. So Be Sharp nailed it with the information right there. So big hats off to you, Be Sharp. I might as well give you a little, there you go. Sorry for the sound effects. You get a lot more of that with Wake Up with Witcher at 7 o'clock in the mornings. It's getting dark also in Granger County, so thanks, Tammy. But again, I don't expect a whole lot of activity necessarily. I don't expect this to hold up. Now, while you get some thunderstorms, there's some decent amount of rain as this progresses east of Interstate 75. Sure, possible, but I don't necessarily know that it's going to hang together. It's going to fall apart once it gets to East Tennessee. Well, I'm not quite sure where you're joining us from, James, but it is already in East Tennessee, and yes, you are correct, sir. It is beginning to slowly fall apart. But I just wanted to jump on here. Listen, it's dinner time. A lot of us aren't paying attention. Maybe you're just messing around on TV and on social media, and you saw the update. So thanks for jumping in here. Linda also joining us from Crossville, and again, also joining us from Crossville. It says hard rain, high winds in Crossville right now. So Linda, thanks so much for that update. So if you are going to be traveling along Interstate 40, into Cumberland County, you are going to run into some stronger wind gusts where we do have a severe thunderstorm warning right now for Crossville. And that severe thunderstorm warning for Crossville does run until 8:15 Eastern Daylight Time, so 7:15. It's now 6:51 Central Daylight Time, so for a little bit longer. So we'll see how these storms are developing and evolving as they move through time. Cody, you have my cell phone number, I think. So send me a text message real quick. I think if you have my cell phone number still, and I can send you that link real quick. Let's see. And I don't know if, Cody, you've joined in on the Witcher Weather Watchers group chat yet. I don't believe you're on there yet. So we need you to get in on that, Cody. See, I live, but Cody, if you want to join, I will send you that link here. I can send it to you right now, Cody. So, Cody, if you would like to join, I will send you. I did send you the link, Cody. It's right here. Copy. We'll repaste that. It's in your cell phone, bud. There you go. I just sent it again, Cody. If you're joining us, and if you want to jump on to give us an update from an actual Witcher Weather Watcher in Scott County of exactly what's been going on in Scott County, that would be great information. Again, if you are part of the National Weather Service Skywarn Storm Spotter program or would like to be, you also could become part of a East Tennessee Weather Storm Spotter as well, called Witcher's Weather Watchers. I've got a lot around East Tennessee so far, and it continues to grow every single day. All you have to do is go take the course with the National Weather Service, and as you do, let's see if we can get that back up on here. And if you do, you'll get a certificate from the National Weather Service. You send that to me, and I'll get you in on the group chat, and you can become part of a Witcher Weather Watcher. So we'll see if Cody chimes in as a Witcher Weather Watcher. We're going to be waiting for you, Cody. No pressure, bud. No pressure at all. Are you getting nervous now? All right. Let's see. What else do we have going on in the chat? And I appreciate all the information for sure, because this is really what it's all about, is you giving us the information. The National Weather Service will see this. If there's any pertinent information, I will pass that along to the National Weather Service, indeed, which only helps them progress their warning information out ahead of the storm. But it is weakening, and you can really see the storm falling apart. Watch as I loop this over the last 1 hour. You can really see how it was really strong. Let me slow that down here for you. So we'll go. See how really strong it was through Fentress County, Scott County, but as it moves its way into Campbell County, it is really weakening quite a bit. And for you folks into Cumberland County, it's really weakening as well. So while some of you may get a little bit of rain here before the night's over, I do anticipate this all to really start to fade away. Oh, no way, bro. No way, bro. We did not leave you out. You're very welcome, April. April says, thanks for the storm updates, and I hope you recover quickly. I am recovering quickly for sure. So Sandy's joining us from Scott County. She says, I live in New River in Scott County, and it took the top of our tree down and moved a heavy dog lot. So we have already had some reports of some really strong winds. Cody, did you get the text message I just sent you? Because if not, then maybe you do have, or I do have, the wrong cell phone number. David Landis joining us right now, one of my neighbors. He goes, I do need to water my herb garden. Probably a good time to tell you, listen, if you're joining us from areas that have already seen a lot of rain so far, the potential for more heavy rain tomorrow into the upcoming weekend, even Sunday, Monday timeframe, and you have an electronic sprinkler system, maybe a good idea to say, hey, listen, I got about 3/4 of an inch of rain. Probably don't need to run the sprinkler system for a couple days. Try to be a little bit of conservative as well. All right, so Beth and Jordan Cooper, thanks for chiming in. Lots of wind damage in Oneida. Lots of wind damage in Oneida. So thanks a lot for that report, Beth. I will pass that along to the Weather Service as well. And I'll let them know right now. All right. Thanks for that information. I just passed that along to the Weather Service so they can get an idea But again, I think this is all weakening, so I really do see improving weather conditions from here on out. Now, while you may get some rain, I think the majority of it is over for the time being. Randy Wagner, is this going to be hitting Jefferson County? Likely not the severe potential, anyways, that we saw in Fentress and Scott County. So, I don't think we're going to see that at all. Nope. And Claire, you're probably not going to see much at all in Look Rock at all. Let me expand the view and show you what the view looks like. I'll switch it over to the national radar so it gives you a better idea of the U.S. radar. And so you can see how this whole thing, this little upper level wave, so you can see even north of Huntsville, down in southern Middle Tennessee, places like Tullahoma are probably not going to get a whole lot of activity, and this will swing its way all to the east-northeast. So unless the storm over Cumberland County right now really decides to intensify, which I highly doubt, then I really think that we're going to really start to see improving weather conditions. So Cumberland County, you are currently still under severe thunderstorm warning until 7:15 Central Daylight Time. We still have a severe thunderstorm warning for Jellicoe, La Follette, Caryville, Norris until 8:30. So that would be for another about 33 minutes anyways. It's currently 7:57. But the National Weather Service, I would imagine, would likely be allowed to would likely expire that severe thunderstorm warning before then, or they'll just let it expire on its own. So the National Weather Service is actually asking in Scott County. So whoever posted that about Scott County, I think that was Beth. The National Weather Service said, let's see. We did hear that there are a lot of trees down. I said, is it mostly down trees and power lines is what they were asking, Beth. And so I'm assuming that's what it is. We did hear there were a lot of trees that were downed as well. So I will just reply back and saying, yes, I think it is mostly. So there we go. So that's the kind of information. See how I passed that along to the Weather Service. They responded right away, and they were actually inquiring a little bit more information. And so that's where you come in with the question and answer. And that's what I love about being able to put on the chat so everybody can see it, so you don't have to ask the same questions over and over again. Elizabeth said, someone said there was a broad rotation near Jellicoe. Listen, anytime you get these kind of thunderstorms, there would be a little bit of rotation, but the atmosphere is not really conducive for a lot of rotation. It's actually more straight line winds. Plus we had, and again, with this kind of a system, when you get a Boeing echo, or a bow echo anyways, where you get the strongest winds right out ahead of it in like the center of the storm, and those upper level winds push the radar out ahead of it, which is what we saw. I'll show you what I'm talking about. We'll go back in time here. See how that's as it comes through Fentress County. See how it's kind of bowing out a little bit. So see how this is bowing out this way. That's because the upper level winds are being transferred to the surface and pushing the radar part, which is what the radar is actually picking up. The radar returns out ahead of it, and so that's typically where we see damaging winds associated with, say, a bow echo, and that's why we've had reports of winds down as well. National Weather Service saying that the AWAS actually in Scott County reached up to 44 miles per hour so far, but he said it definitely makes sense that it would just be trees and power lines that maybe had knocked down, or trees knocking power lines down, which of course knocks your power out. Speaking of which, let's check in on the power outages again. And at this hour, we are doing A-okay. Let's see. Scott County, not a whole lot of power outage. Really, it's Fentress County that has the majority of the power outages right now. But this is really weakening, and so I would imagine we'll probably be able to let you go here. I'll see what the Weather Service does with any of the extended warnings, but I would imagine at this point of the game, we would just say, hey, listen, have a good night. Enjoy the evening, because anything to our west and southwest is going to continue to weaken as this whole system weakens. And so these warnings will be allowed to expire here in the next 15 to 30 minutes. Since I've got you on here, might as well walk you through an evening forecast. Remember, you can always get these on the East Tennessee Weather Platform. And this would probably be a good idea to highlight a couple things for you. And one of those things I wanted to highlight, if you're new to the East Tennessee Weather Platform and you don't have the East Tennessee Weather app, let me just show you something here for a second, because this is going to be a great tool down the road whether it be tonight or tomorrow night. So when you open the app up, if you've not seen the app yet, just go to the Google Play Store, the App Store, and search East TN Weather, all one word. Look for the orange TN and the white lightning bolt. It's literally like the first one that pops up if you type in East TN Weather, all one word, which is, of course, how my branding is. But you come down to the interactive radar. And if you open the interactive radar, you can see that I've got the watches on there. And you can highlight different cities and find out more information with what's going on. But there's your severe thunderstorm warning right there on the screen. But the interactive radar is going to go back 2 hours, pause at the current hour, and then go into a future cast of 2 hours. And so, yeah, we're going to see the storm weaken as it moves its way eastward. Now, we still may hang on to some decent rain back in parts of Fentress and Scott County as it continues to track its way a little bit further to the east, but this is where the interactive radar is going to come in handy. Plus, you have all your alerts. And so when you actually come up to the weather alerts, I don't have it on my computer right now, so don't have the alerts on this computer, but on your cell phone, if you go to alerts, you'll be able to read through all the alerts that have been issued by the National Weather Service, and that will give you an idea of what's going on. Let's see. Morgan County Emergency Management said getting reports of hail and trees down throughout the county. So Morgan County, also some power outages in the Sunbright community are being reported right now as well. So let's go back to the radar and I'll show you what we're talking about here. So back to the radar. Let's get back on the screen here. But again, we are getting reports in also Morgan County. So northern Morgan County looks like the possibility of some power outages and some wind damage reports, some trees being reported down in the area. But again, we are continuing to see a weakening trend with this whole line. So I would imagine these storms will continue to expire here very shortly and likely not to see that severe thunderstorm warning extended past the Cumberland County area. So Crossville along Highway 127 already getting some heavier rain moving its way back into the area. Crab Orchard, likely not to see a whole lot of severe weather. And really in this vantage point, we only have 7 lightning strikes currently in this vantage point. In this vantage point right here, we've got 22 lightning strikes and weakening because when you look at the radar loop over the last hour, we were all the way up into the near 100 lightning strikes, and a weakening trend with lightning lets us know that the storms are weakening as well. So if you don't have any other questions, I will probably let you go for the evening hour. We'll do another weather update. I will have another weather update on YouTube, on all social media platforms, on all East Tennessee weather platforms that will start at 9 o'clock. That will be updated. And then again, Wake Up with Witcher tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock in the morning. So hopefully you'll be able to join us for a live weather update on the severe weather potential for tomorrow. And again, since I still have you on screen right now, let's talk about tomorrow's potential. So we still have the severe thunderstorm watch. It's been really died down. Looks like the Storm Prediction Center is not going to increase that, which I don't think they need to. Looks like we still have that potential, but that's also weakening. So here's your latest future cast. Picking up our timeline here at 8 o'clock. And again, you can see how our latest future cast is continuing to weaken these storms as we go through the next hour to 2-3 hours. It really is going to continue to weaken. So I'm not anticipating a lot more activity. Now, tomorrow, it's going to ramp up again. And we do have a couple of rounds of showers and thunderstorms tomorrow that will ramp up. I think we'll get one late morning, early afternoon, and then one possibly later afternoon into the evening hours if the atmosphere can recover. But the Storm Prediction Center has put us under a level 1 risk for strong to severe thunderstorms for the day tomorrow. So here's how that looks, and this is what tomorrow looks like. We may start off with a couple of scattered showers first thing in the morning, but no severe weather first thing in the morning. As we get into the 10, 11, noon, 1, 2 o'clock hour, here comes some energy, and so we could spark off some isolated strong to severe thunderstorms. So I think some folks said they had some graduations tomorrow night. Here's 3 o'clock tomorrow. So a lot of kids have half day tomorrow. If your kids are starting summer break tomorrow, which not all kids are. But if your kids aren't, and they head home from school, think about this: 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, we could see a couple more isolated strong to severe thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon, and then 5, 6, 7 and 8 o'clock, again, progressing tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, with also the risk for some isolated strong to severe storms. And the heaviest rain is likely going to be along and north of Interstate 40. When you look at your 3-day forecast, we'll see we're going to see more storms on Friday. Saturday, I think we're going to get a little lull in the activity. Don't cancel any outdoor plans on Saturday yet. I know a lot of folks are going to be heading off to the lakes. It is boating season, the unofficial start to summer on Saturday. I do think, though, however, when you look at the severe weather potential across the country, tomorrow's risk, right? Now, let me go back to tomorrow's risk. Tomorrow's risk does include the greatest risk west of the Mississippi River Valley, but you can see how the Tennessee Valley is under a level 1 risk. Then it kind of weakens as we get into our Friday, Saturday time frame, but a lot of folks may be traveling for the holidays. So from Chicago all the way down to Missouri and Arkansas, we'll see a chance for some strong thunderstorms. But then on day number 4, the Storm Prediction Center has now put out a probability forecast for severe weather. So we're likely to get at least another level 1 risk for severe storms. This will be Sunday into Monday, and I do think that one will bring us quite a bit more activity. And when you kind of put it all together in a nice little package, we are looking at the possibility of some decent rain. So anywhere from 1 to 2 inches of rainfall possible here locally. Again, this is kind of broad brushing it from the Weather Prediction Center. Again, we could see higher amounts than that, of course, with some of the locally heavy rain and some of the stronger cells that may develop over the next several days. Keep in mind, flooding and flash flooding could be an issue as well. And your temperature trend staying above average, but hold on a second, May 28th, May 29th timeframe-ish, well, we may start to see some cooler than average weather, and the Climate Prediction Center is agreeing with that as well. There is a pocket of cooler air. Temperatures could be down into the 50, or excuse me, well, one model had 50 yesterday, but maybe 60s and 70s into, say, the 28th, 29th of May, maybe leading into the first part of June. And so 60s and 70s maybe. So that would be nice, refreshing. That would mean drier air will settle its way into the area as well. We'll kind of wrap things up here. We'll take you back to the radar. Well, all right, the National Weather Service has now issued, let's see. This is going to be the National Weather Service says once again, they're going to keep that severe thunderstorm warning. So while I thought they would actually decrease it, it says National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Morgan County, northwestern Anderson, southwestern Campbell, northwestern Roane, and southeastern Scott County. This runs until 8:45 Eastern Daylight Time, so it's only 8:08. So they've now added the one and extended it a little bit further to the east at 8:05. So it's 8:08. At 8:05, the severe thunderstorm was located along a line extending from 12 miles south of Jamestown and 7 miles north of Fairfield Glade to Crossville, moving east at 50 miles per hour. Damaging winds and penny-sized hail possible. This is radar indicated. So cities in the path of this would be Wartburg, Oliver Springs, Harriman, Sunbright, Oakdale, High Point, Coalfield, Smoky Junction, Pine Orchard, and Rosedale. This also includes Interstate 40 in Tennessee between mile markers 346 and 348, if you happen to know those areas. So the National Weather Service has extended that, but nothing like what we saw in Fentress and Scott County earlier. This would be associated with the possibility of some damaging wind gusts. And again, I don't believe that the Storm Prediction Center has actually issued the severe thunderstorm watch. Let me just double check here. Does not look like they have extended the watches. No, they have not. So they have not extended the severe thunderstorm watch. Nope, that includes Fentress and Cumberland County still. So the Storm Prediction Center has not issued that, but let's go back to the radar. Now we'll come over to, so we got a stronger cell just south of McMinnville. This is going to work its way towards Spencer and then maybe towards Cumberland County once again. So again, areas that have already seen quite a bit of rain and the heaviest rainfall, keep in mind, our rainfall rates are still fairly high. And so that could lead to some localized flooding and the potential for some localized flash flooding. So something to kind of keep in mind here as we progress through the rest of the evening hours. Let's see. Well, here we go. I just got a little text message from a friend of mine, actually an acquaintance of mine here in town. He says, just a little feedback for you on the East Tennessee Weather app. He goes, I gave a friend of mine your app because he didn't like any of the current weather apps he was using. So he said he talked to him. I talked to him today, and he said he absolutely loves it. Said it's the best weather app he's seen. I thought I'd like to hear that. So, John Ashley, if you're joining us this at this hour, I do appreciate that, man. That's really nice. And again, the interactive radar is going to be great. So I don't anticipate a lot of severe weather, even though we do have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings here still. Just make sure you stay on top of it with the East Tennessee Weather app. If I see anything kind of crank up or ramp up anymore, I will definitely go on. But there's really, at this point of the game, I just don't really find it necessary to do wall-to-wall coverage with you. If you disagree and want me to stay on, I definitely will. But I think the possibility of some damaging winds with any of the storms are still likely. So the possibility of maybe some localized power outages, where of course we're going to still see some locally heavy rainfall. Still watching another little line just moving its way out of Cumberland County. So still has quite a bit of energy. So Sunbright, Wartburg, Harriman, anybody joining us along Highway 27. Another round of some good solid downpours. You've already seen one round move its way on through. So another round is going to be moving its way into the area. And that is the potential for the localized flooding and flash flooding that we need to watch closely for the rest of the night. So the National Weather Service says, listen, went ahead and issued another warning for the stuff moving out of Morgan County. Let's see. And that's why they issued that one moving into Morgan County and then out of it. The storms are weakening, as they've mentioned, but the velocities out of the Nashville radar showing values near about 50 knots. And so that's why they issued that. So still expect some gustier wind, some locally heavy rainfall, but I do not anticipate anything really major to continue to occur from here on out. So I'll just check on the chat, make sure everybody's doing okay. I'm going to see if you have any other questions. Bobby Green says the wind really just picked up in Jacksboro. Super gusty right now, which is going to be the case with any of these kind of storms. And that's really going to be the case as we head into, the summer months. We can get those randos that do fire up. Can somebody in DeKalb County be a What's Your Weather Watcher? You 100%, Krista. So shoot me a message. Mike@easttnweather.com. Actually, I'll tell you what. I will post the link to the National Weather Service in this chat right now. And you will be able to take the course if you have not taken the course. So anybody interested in becoming a National Weather Service Skywarn Storm Spotter, you do have to be an official storm spotter for me to allow you to become part of my broadcast, because I want you to understand what storms are, how storm structures work, what to look at for hail damage, wind damage, and all the information for severe weather potential. And so I do want you to have the basic understanding of severe weather. And listen, if you've got your certificate from the National Weather Service, it's always a good idea to go back every once in a while to re-up that. So I'm going to post that into the chat right meow. Okay, sorry about that. I said right meow. So right now, I just posted the link. It's coming from me. And so you can click on that link, and that will take you to the location where you can take the course virtually, which is really, really handy and really a great tool. Let's see. I don't believe they will. I was a little shocked that they did, but they're looking at the radar, and so am I, but everything's really starting to weaken, and so I don't anticipate, Elizabeth, a whole lot more activity. Beth, you've taken the course. Well, if you've taken the course and you have your certificate, message me, Mike@easttnweather.com. I will put that in the chat right now. Mike@easttnweather.com. Message me. There we go. I just post that in the chat right now. Well, I apologize, Dina, if I am freezing up a little bit. But message me, send me a message, or email me anyways your certificate, and then I will bring you into a big old group chat of all the What's Your Weather Watchers that we have in East Tennessee. You'll get a free t-shirt and a hat. There's a little incentive. And we can pull you into the broadcast and really highlight what is going on in your communities and how it's all playing out. because it's really you are the ground truth. You live in your communities. You know where your communities are, see more potential for flooding. You live through the storms. And so I'm just one little tiny person in one little tiny location around East Tennessee. Same with the National Weather Service. We can only do is what we can. So it's really the ground truth. And the National Weather Service would really appreciate it as well, because anything that you pass along to me, you can pass along to the Weather Service, or I can pass that along to them as well. Kristen, it's a lot of fun. Weather is cool. There we go. And that's what it's all about right there, Sandra. Just got home from working in Huntsville, Alabama, had my phone on me and got all the weather updates and notifications. Thank you. So that's what the East Tennessee Weather app is going to be great for as well. And listen, if you don't have the East Tennessee Weather app, I will throw that on the chat right now, whether you have a Google, an Android or an iPhone. So I'm going to throw that into the chat right now. There's two different links, one for iPhone users, one for Android users. And you can just click on that link from your cell phone, or just copy it and paste it into your cell phone, or just search EastTN Weather, all one word. Download the East Tennessee Weather app. It really is going to be a great tool as we progress through spring into the summer months when we're not really paying attention to the weather around us. And then you get those notifications, but you got to have your notifications turned on. And just an FYI, the East Tennessee Weather app goes wherever you go in the United States. And so with that said, if you take vacations down to the beach, a lot of folks have been telling me, hey, listen, I actually am taking a vacation to Orange Beach, Florida, right? And so what they did was they put in Orange Beach into the East Tennessee Weather app, because you can have multiple locations involved in that or in the app itself. And so with that, and I can even show you how to do that real quick if you want. And with that itself, what you can do is get an idea of what the forecast is looking like leading up to your vacation. So if you go to the app itself, and if you're in anywhere, just the orange T on the top left-hand side of the screen where my mouse is, that's where you want to highlight. That's your quick, easy button to go back to the homepage. So click on that. That takes you back to the homepage where we're broadcasting right now, is on the 24/7 live weather channel right here. But if you ever get a link, that's where I'm going to send you. But right here at the top as well, at the very tip top, see that area right there? I have a bunch of locations in there. So all you have to do is click that little plus sign. So you click the little plus sign, and let's add a location. So you come to this location. Let's just add Orange Beach, Florida. Yeah. Orange Beach. Where is Florida in there? Or it's Orange Beach, right? Or am I thinking of somewhere else? Is it not Orange Beach? No, it's not Orange Beach. What is the beach down? We'll just say Daytona. Let's just make this easy. We'll do Daytona Beach, Florida. How about that one? So if you just put Daytona Beach, Florida in there, and then you allow the alerts, it allows alerts enabled, and you click save, guess what? When you go back home and you come down here, you just slide this little button. And so these are all the different locations that I've added, showing people what to do. There's Denver, there's Louisville, Kentucky. Now there's Chattanooga. And guess what? Daytona Beach is right there. So not only do you get, you can't see that on the screen, sorry. Not only do you get the radar, as you slide this, it changes the radar image for you. So now you get the forecast. You can click on that and get all the latest forecast information where you may be traveling to on vacation. But again, it will notify you of any severe weather or any inclement weather in your area. If you're going to the beach, that's going to be great, right? Not paying attention, storms start firing up, you're hanging out at the beach. You get that notification that lightning is within 15 miles of your location. Is going to be a great tool for summer vacations and beach vacations, and just really handy every single day. So I do want to recap just one more time, and then we'll let you go here for the evening hours. We do currently have 3 severe thunderstorm warnings, 2 in our location right now. So we still have the severe thunderstorm warning for Campbell County, so there's Claiborne County. This runs until 8:30, so about another 10 more minutes. National Weather Service will likely allow this to expire. Union County, Campbell County. We also have a severe thunderstorm warning for Scott County that runs until 8:45. Got one little lonely cell that's developing just to the north of Wartburg and south of Sunbright that may produce a little bit of pea-sized hail or some penny-sized hail anyways, just outside of Oak Hill, Lone Mountain area. So Ombre, Slick Rock, Smoky Junction. May see a couple of more storms. But that severe thunderstorm warning extends down towards Harriman into Roane and again Morgan County until 8:45. We do have one just to the southwest of Cumberland County. This one right here is still holding pretty strong, actually, to be honest with you, but pretty far away from the radar. So this will move its way into, say, Van Buren County. If it holds together, it'll move its way into Cumberland County, but I do anticipate a weakening trend. Now, with that said, on the southern tail end, we'll watch some of these storms on the southern end. Let me switch to the radar in Morristown. So Spring City, anybody south of Interstate 40 now. Now we do have some storms that are starting to, or at least some heavy rain anyways, that are paralleling Highway 27 south of Interstate 40, north of Dayton, and right around the Spring City area. Speaking of which, the National Weather Service now cancels severe thunderstorm warnings for Anderson, Campbell, Claiborne, Morgan, Scott, Union counties. So they have now canceled this warning. This warning will say bye-bye in just a moment. So therefore, what do I say? Well, I say it is just about time for me to wrap things up. So I'll cue the music. I'll run through the chat, make sure everything. Oh, it is Orange Beach, Alabama. Tracy, you're so right. Darn me. Thank you, Lyndall. You're right. You're right. It's next to Floribama. It was close. I was close. I've been there. And Floribama's right there. Got to give me some credit for that, right? Angela says, thanks, Mike, for showing me how to work the app. I will be traveling the next few weeks and wondered how to get those places in there. You are very welcome. And if you ever have any questions about the app, I'm going to be doing a video that will eventually I'll post on all my East Tennessee weather platforms. But the app is really going to be the great tool. Go check out the website. And if you want to upload some photos, there's a Witcher's Pictures link. I've done Witcher's Pictures for almost 25 years. And so I had to continue Witcher's Pictures. So these are views from your eyes. Share those. Those come right into my weather computer. Speaking of which, before I go, let's see and just double check and see if anybody has uploaded any sort of photos through the Witcher's Pictures link on the East Tennessee Weather app. Just some beautiful ones, but I'll give you a little update and show you what I'm talking about. These come right into my computer. You upload them right through the app, and these are the kind of things that we can share every single day. Oh, is that not just gorgeous? That one was sent in by Beth Cresswell. Another beautiful sunrise in the Smoky Mountains this morning overlooking Blackberry Farm Valley. That is gorgeous. We've got a great drone shot. Bobby Johnson from Tellico Plains sharing this one through the East Tennessee Weather app. And this is just a great tool. Look at that drone shot. Is that just not gorgeous? You gotta love the beautiful scenery we live in. This was again near Tellico Plains. Here's another one from Bobby Johnson coming in from Tellico Plains. Load it. Let's get rid of that for a second. Let's let that load. We'll bring that back onto the screen. Maybe it's taking a second. There it is. So again, these are kind of views from your eyes, right? Witcher's Pictures of what I call it. But I do appreciate you all for joining me this evening for a severe weather update. Again, the National Weather Service has expired the severe thunderstorm warnings or canceled it anyways. And it does not look like much more activity will be heading our way for the rest of the evening. Some rain showers, sure, but remember, chance for severe thunderstorms tomorrow and likely again Sunday into Monday. So we'll definitely be keeping you up to date on that. Download the app. If you like what you see, go share it with everybody. And we will keep you posted on how things are all playing out. Mindy says, how are the severe storms ending? If it's just now thundering in Speedwell because the storms are weakening, and we only, to be honest with you, only have 14 lightning strikes across East Tennessee. And that is it. Looks like a special weather statement's been issued by the National Weather Service for Spring City, or just outside of Spring City in DeRay County. That would be in DeRay County. So again, a weakening system. Yeah, you could see a few rumbles of thunder before the evening's over, but all is well and all is improving. Could be changing tomorrow. And again, Sunday, Monday, those will be the days to keep an eye on. I do anticipate Saturday to play out just fine. All right, my friends, we're going to wrap things up here at this hour. We sure hope you have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you back here hopefully tomorrow morning for Wake Up with Witcher. By the way, starts at 7 o'clock Monday through Friday. We'll see you back here real soon.